Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Wayne State Football Positional Preview Series. I'm Brady Beedon, joined by Coach Moose here. The tight ends coach was a GA last year, now the tight ends coach. First of all, congratulations on that move. How does it feel to be a part of the full-time staff now?
Feels a lot better. I think I have more responsibilities now, which is really nice. And there's just something about having your own, meeting room and position that you get to coach. There's really no feeling like it in football. So.
And just not being a GA anymore.
Right. I mean,
long hours.
Yeah, the biggest thing is people talk about, if you want to really get in the game, you got to pay your dues. But I kind of feel like I didn't. I skipped a lot because I only GA'd for the year. So yeah, I kind of got lucky in that sense.
Well, let's talk about your tight end room because it's a bit of an anomaly because you either have guys that have played a lot of football and seen a lot of snaps, or fresh and green and new to college football. Let's start with the returners. The one name everyone's going to remember, Nick Ostis from last year. He's coming back, expecting him to play a big role.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's heading into this fall camp, definitely our guy. In terms of, everything you look for in a tight end, he's got it all. All the intangibles you want. I mean, just looking at body-wise, he's exactly how you would want your tight end to look. He's a physical guy, which is huge in this conference. And the biggest thing about him is, with his age, he's come to understand the game a lot more. He's able to kind of take these plays and make it into his own when trying to teach it or explain it to the younger guys. So yeah, he's going to be a pretty big name that we're going to lean on to try to help us a lot in the game.
No, you've had a transfer. He's been a lot of places. Tell me about him. A new face, right, at least to Detroit and Wayne State, but maybe not to college football.
Right, yeah. So Blake Nelson transferred out of Toledo. He originally hometown guy. He grew up in West Bloomfield and then went to Walled Lake Central. When he graduated from there, I believe he played at Louisville and then transferred to Texas A&M Commerce, and then he was at Toledo last before he came here. So biggest thing with him, man, is I have good contacts with coaches in Toledo, so they spoke very, very highly of him when we were doing our recruiting. He's a guy who I think, just like Ostis, a lot older in the game, so he understands the game a lot more. Sometimes all you need in football really is just the first thing you have to do is be at the right spot.
Right.
People talk about playing hard, but that only goes so far if you're blocking the wrong guy or running the wrong route. So the biggest thing with those two guys, especially being older in such a, young room, is I tell them all the time, you have to lead, but I'm not looking for you to always talk to these guys. Sometimes by the way you walk into the building, by the way you, study your plays, by the way you play the game, that does enough leadership than anything else. So I hope once they understand that, they'll really help those young guys come along.
Well, you mentioned the young guys a few times, a trio of new blood into this program. And there's only two older guys ahead of them. So someone in this group's probably going to see some playing time. Tell me about the new kids on the block.
I think, you hit it on the nail. It's somebody, one of them does have to play, especially with the low numbers we have. Biggest thing is, you guys know how it is. It's a very physical league, right? There are big boys up front that are trying to get paid. So the biggest thing for these freshmen coming in is, first, they have to physically be there. And that's just really having good weight, good strength, and that's hard to do as a freshman. They're 18 years old, 17 years old, some of them. So I think if they really did well in the summer, and I think some of those guys have taken strides to gain weight and strength, I think once we get on the field, we'll really see who, takes that role and being able to make the bus.
So with these three young guys, go through them each and tell me just a little bit about coming in as a freshman, what some of their strengths are and where you can see them progressing.
We'll start with Brody. So he's out from Parma Western, so west side of the state. He is one of those guys that physically is closer to what we're looking for than those two, which is really good on him. But even when I say that, he's still around 230, maybe getting closer to 235, still ways away from what you want your tight end to be in this league. So, him, I think he's definitely there physically more than the other two. Marquise Meadows, I think he was at River Rouge, so another local Detroit guy, very lengthy guy. His strength is definitely going up and getting the football. Now, saying that, and watching his games from last season in high school, he does not shy away from contact, right? So, which is really good on him, especially being, you know, as light as he is. Brock Carpenter, he's one of our other guys. I would say he's a little further along physically than Marquise is. The only thing with him, one thing I think he did a really good job of was he showed up all summer, you know, almost every day. So he really put in the work and you know, improved a lot throughout this entire offseason. I think, again, biggest thing with him is got to get his weight up, and this really goes for all three of these guys, is understanding the playbook, understanding what we're trying to accomplish on each play, right? And just so we can be at the right spot, then we can worry about technique.
So tight end is kind of one of those positions where, depending on where you go, can have vastly different roles. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a bigger wide receiver. Sometimes it's a sixth-toe lineman. What is the tight end's role going to be in this year's Wayne State offense?
The way I look at it, you have to be versatile. You know, the way I talk to these guys, you're a Swiss Army knife, okay, for our offense. And like you said, yeah, it is definitely different every place you go, but at least here, we do lean more towards the run game, so we want guys being able to run block, but, you know, with our new OC, he's not afraid to air it out. So let's just say that. So especially with guys, you know, as we get, you know, more spread into 10 personnel, we'll replace them with a receiver. But for now, we definitely still need guys that are able to, from a three-point stance, get out into the route and get open, make some space against linebackers. So the way I look at it in this offense, you have to do both pretty great if you want to play.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Congratulations again for getting your own room now and own position meetings to run. Excited for it, week 1, not that far away.
Nope, it's right there.
He's Coach Moose. I'm Brady Beedon, and you've been watching the Wayne State Football Positional Preview Series.